I am Professor Schmitt, and I run the non-degree program of Dayton. My contact info is here, but I'll give it to you at the end as well. If you have any questions about anything or want to talk more, feel free to email me at any time. The non-degree program is, I think of it as basically an executive, it's similar to an executive MBA in that it's an intensive program that you finish relatively quickly. So you have to be very serious and committed during that time period. It's a compressed schedule where we have classes in the summer and in the winter. In the summer, we're starting in just a couple weeks. And then in the winter, we typically start in mid to late November and run through the end of the year. The courses are 100% online, so you don't need to go to any physical building, but they are in real time primarily. So we run them on Zoom, just like this meeting we're having right now. They're in the evening, though, for you, in the morning for me. And there's also a Saturday morning session, but it's nearly every day. It's 5 days a week during the class, but each class only runs for about 2 weeks since it's so intensive. I know this was mentioned in the previous lecture, but I just want to cover this as well. There are 26 credits in the program. So if you take all of the courses, you would have what you need from the US legal education standpoint to apply for the DC bar. Now, we cannot, so you can get licensed in the US as an attorney. Now, we can't guarantee that any particular individual will be accepted to the bar. You have to do other things like pass character and fitness. If you have a very serious criminal record, you may not get through. And you have to have a qualifying first degree in law. Typically, our students are going to have that from an LLB degree, a legal degree from an institution in Korea. But there are requirements. Reach out to me or Mr. Kim if you want more detail on that. The last thing I'll mention here is that if you do well in the program, you show that you're understanding the material, you're succeeding, you're getting A's and B's, maybe the occasional C, but largely doing well, you can apply those credits towards the LLM degree that Dean Ioannidis is going to talk about here in just a little bit. So our curriculum is all substantive courses. So what I mean by that is we jump straight into it. For the courses to count for the DC bar exam, they need to be substantially focused in a US legal subject that is tested on the bar exam. So all of our courses are, right? You can see from the curriculum here, these are the core courses that you would cover in your first year of law school if you were to take a JD, get a JD degree. These are also the core subjects that are tested on the bar exam. There are other subjects that are tested on the bar, but these are the ones that the bar exam really focuses on. Now, I understand that most students who are first starting out in the program do not have a strong background in US law or even the common law system. And so, of course, I take that into account. So especially in the first class of each term, I try to start things very slowly with an introduction to the US legal system, the common law approach, and I try to make it so someone who is learning about US law for the first time can actually understand it. And I think contracts is a good place to start off with that. The way I approach the courses, and of course I don't teach everything, but I do teach about half of the program. So my approach to teaching these courses, and my colleagues have a similar approach, is to basically I cover every unit using this formula. So I'll start out by giving context, background. Depending on where we're at, that could take a minute, that could take a half hour. Right? It depends on the subject and the topic. I'll then cover the legal rule that governs that area. I'll give you the law, which is usually not terribly complicated. The rule itself, just because of the way the common law system works. So what I'm saying is I'll have a slide that I identified. This is what you need to memorize. We will then work through cases, which of course is incredibly important in a common law system to look at what the courts have actually done with those rules. And those cases will really form examples so that you understand how the rules actually work in the real world. You don't have to memorize the cases. What I want you to try to memorize is the rules, and the cases are going to help you do that and give you more background and content on what those rules really mean. Then we're going to test that understanding through hypotheticals. These hypotheticals are going to be similar in style to what you would see on the bar exam. And so they're often either open-ended short answer or multiple choice, just like you would see on the bar exam. And when I say hypotheticals, what I really mean is a situation, a artificial situation I create with a client, right? So if we're talking about constitutional law, I would say Congress passed a law. Here's the law. Is it constitutional? If we're talking about contracts, I would say, well, this party made an offer. This party responded in this way. Have they formed a contract, right? What I'm not going to do most of the time is just ask you, what is the law, right? I expect you to know that. This is how the bar exam works. What you need to do to demonstrate your knowledge is to actually apply it in the real world. I then, at the end of each major unit, so this would be periodically throughout the course, maybe 3 or 4 different times, I would have an end of unit practice essay. Because on our final exam, I'm basically mimicking the bar exam in that I'm going to have multiple choice and essays. And so you're going to have to look at both types of formats on the final exam. I'm giving you those in class so that we can practice with it, so you can become comfortable with how you're going to be tested in the course. Now, the grades in the course, because it is such a compressed time schedule, the grades are all based 100% on your final exam, which is the traditional model in the US.